Hi everyone, Abby here, and welcome back to my channel for Tech Tuesday, or welcome if you're new. Now today, as requested by many of you, I'm going to be comparing the new Garmin Venu 4 to the older, but still great, Garmin Venu 3S. Today I'm going to go over the major differences between both these smartwatches, and I'm going to let you guys know if I think it's worth upgrading or not. If you're looking for something more in-depth, I've done full individual reviews on both of these, which you can find coming up at the top right, also linked in the description below for you to check out when you're done watching this. All right guys, so before I go into the major differences between these smartwatches, let's go into the spec similarities so you guys can get an idea of what they have in common. So both the Garmin Venu 4 and the Garmin Venu 3S have 1.2-inch AMOLED color displays where you can see bright, bold, punchy colors. They also both have 18mm silicone watch bands. You can track indoor activities, outdoor activities. They both have built-in GPS. You can track your daily metrics like your steps, your calories burned, your active minutes, your force climbed. They have heart rate monitoring. They both have the exact same Elevate 5 heart rate sensor. They can track your blood SpO2, your respiration rate. You can get your VO2 max on here. They both have HRV status. They're both water resistant up to 5 ATM or 50 meters, so you can take them swimming. And they're both compatible with Android and iPhones. And I've gone ahead and listed a bunch more similarities on screen for you. All right guys, so now I'm going to talk about the major differences between these smartwatches. And the first one for me would be the price. So the current price as of recording for the Garmin Venu 4 is $769.99 Canadian and $549.99 American. And for the Venu 3, $659.99 Canadian and $449.99 American. So you guys can see there's been a price bump up. Now I will say the Garmin Venu 3S, which has been out for about 2 years now, because it's been out for longer, it goes on sale a lot more often. Routinely, I'll see it on sale for like $50 off, $100 off, sometimes even more. So you definitely have a higher chance of grabbing this at a better sale price. And I definitely would recommend buying either of these on sale or getting it discounted because they are expensive smartwatches. I did share a video on how I get my Garmin watches discounted. You guys can do it too for free. So that video will be in the description for you guys as well if you want to check it out. All right guys, so the next difference between both these smartwatches is the design. When it comes to the design, they changed, a few things. So the first thing you'll notice is the Garmin Venu 4 has a matte metal bezel and it has a metal casing all around it. Where the Garmin Venu 3S has a bit shinier of a finish here, and it does have a polymer casing all around. They both do have metal accents and buttons as well. The Venu 3S does have little hour markers going around in gold, which matches the Venu 4. They took that away. Another difference you're gonna see is the amount of buttons on each smartwatch. Now the Garmin Venu 3S has 3 buttons here. The Garmin Venu 4 has 2 buttons. Thickness, they are very similar. Another change you guys will see is that the speaker and mic locations have moved on the smartwatches. Another difference I noticed, which is a small one, but they moved the location of the charging port. One thing about the design here, I actually really like the new metal casing on the Venu 4 here, because this allows you to swap out your bands super easily, because you don't have to worry about kind of the color of the polymer here conflicting when you change your bands. So just to give you guys a little demo of what I'm talking about, if you're like, Abby, what do you mean? If I want to go ahead and swap the bands because they're the same size, interchangeable, if I go ahead and put these dust rose bands on here, you can see that it looks pretty. It kind of works. Basically any color can match with that metal casing there without looking like it's clashing. But if I were to go and put the periwinkle colored band on the Venu 3S, you guys can see it looks a little bit odd just because of the pink here. It clashes a bit with, the periwinkle. So while you can definitely change your bands if you don't mind that type of thing, I'm the kind of person who that kind of bugs me. So I pretty much stick with the regular band here, or I try to get golds that match and just go with that. Another thing about the design is the Venu 4 does have a flashlight or a torch built into the top there. There's different color options for the Venu 4 and for the Venu 3S. So Garmin decided to reduce the color options. So we have less color options on the Venu 4 than we did on the Venu 3S. And I also like the color options better on the Venu 3S. I am a gold lover. We didn't really get that much gold here. Yes, there is gold option, but it's like we didn't get that same type of, feminine, pretty colors as much with the Venu 4 compared to the Venu 3S, in my opinion. The different amount of buttons here really does change the operation. We have Garmin's newest UI on the Venu 4, where we have Garmin's older UI on the Venu 3S. Now you guys will see if I click the top button on both of these, they open up kind of a similar area, but it's a little different. So with the Venu 3S, opportunity to just jump into kind of choosing a workout here, or you can swipe and you can open an app. Now with the Garmin Venu 4, when I click that button, you can kind of start a workout here. There's a few shortcuts, but you have to kind of go into the menu if you want to choose one and go from here. So just a little bit of an extra step there. And if you swipe down, then you see apps. So they changed it a little bit there. Streamlined, I prefer just being able to quickly just swipe left and right. If you hold top button, you're gonna open up a little shortcut menu. So on the Venu 4, you could see it's definitely a refreshed look. It looks a bit more Apple-esque, if you ask me, in terms of the look here, but it looks nice. You can notice that there's no words, so there's just images there, where on the Venu 3S, we have little icons and we have words for what, you know, each thing is. Now, on the Venu 3S, we got these 3 buttons. You're like, what does this button do? Well, if I go ahead and hold this button here, it opens up my voice assistant. Do I have any appointments today?
You don't have any events today.
Just an example there. Now with this watch, there's no button to jump right into your voice assistant. Now with the Venu 3S, if I go ahead, hold the bottom button here, I jump into my settings. So you can change your watch face, your clock, you can go deeper into the settings and just, you know, change things about the watch. So with the Venu 4 here, when you press the bottom button and hold it, you're opening up the flashlight and turning off the flashlight. But you can no longer just go into your settings. When you are swiping up, you can see your metrics on both of them. You guys can see that they look very different. So the new UI here, you do have like gradient background, which you can see for your different metrics. And the Garmin Venu 3S, which is the older UI, has a black background, which is more contrasting, and you could see, you know, your different metrics as well. So both of them showing the same information, they just look a bit different. I prefer the Venu 3S look here. I find it easier to read because it's just so much more contrasting at having everything on a black background. But when you go into a lot of apps, they look similar. For example, I'll open up weather on both of them. You can see they do look very similar here. There's just little changes in, like, you know, maybe font sizes, colors, things like that. But both of them, I think it's pretty easy to read the information once you get into an app, but it's just the whole, you know, this page, there's definitely a difference. And I noticed the biggest difference if you're in like bright lighting. For example, like if I'm outside, there's a lot more glare that's noticeable on the Venu 4 versus the Venu 3 on this page, especially just because of, you know, the difference in the background there. Another difference is they've removed the shortcut from the Venu 4. So on the Venu 3S, on the Venu 2S, on many Garmin watches, if you swipe, you have a shortcut. Swipe to the right, shortcut. There's no more shortcut on the Venu 4. They took it away. I have my alarm set as a shortcut, but you can do a variety of different apps like music, timers. There's a bunch of options there. Another difference is on the Venu 3S, if I swipe down from the top, you're gonna see your widgets, but from the opposite order. So from the bottom. So this is the last kind of widget I have, and then this is the first one. So instead of me swiping all the way to the bottom to view, you know, this, what I can do is from the top, just swipe down and view that there. But on the Venu 4 here, when you swipe down, you actually see your notifications. So that's definitely something new. Some of you may like. Another difference here is that when you swipe to the right, you jump into this menu, and that's the same menu that you saw when you click the button here. On the Venu 3S, if you swipe to the right, nothing happens. So that's a difference here as well. And it's something that I don't understand why they made this and why they made this do the same thing. But hey, that's what we got on the Venu 4. So that's operational differences in a nutshell. All right, guys, so when it comes to activity tracking on both of these smartwatches, they both do a very great job. And there's honestly not that much of a difference, but I put it in a different section here because there are some differences when it actually comes to looking at your activity tracking, metrics. So I'm going to show you guys a recent activity. I'm getting similar data, but different. So both of them were the exact same duration. You can see average heart rate is the same, but the calories burned does differ. I do find that the Garmin Venu 4 routinely is lower than my other smartwatches. Now going here, you can see that the little heart rate graph is a bit bigger, but we are seeing, similar information here. And here's the Venu, but they're both showing similar trends. And when I go to the heart rate zones, you guys can see that there are differences here as well. So overall similar, but definitely some noticeable differences. On the Venu 3S, you could see the breakdown of your calories, so your active calories, your resting calories, the total. So we can see a workout benefit here. It says recovery on the Venu 3S. On the Venu 4, we do have training effect, which is something that's new for the Venu line. It's showing how much of your workout was anaerobic versus aerobic. It's showing a training effect, which is a base, the load, workout benefit, maintaining health, and this one says recovery. So I think these are kind of similar in a way, but they do have different messages. When it comes to activity tracking, they might differ between like 5% or so in the data you're seeing, but very similar. And that's something that's expected because they do have the exact same heart rate sensor. Another difference is the activities they can track. And the Venu 4 actually does track more activities than the Venu 3S. Some examples of those are multi-sport activities like triathlon, pool triathlons, and motorsport activities like motorcycling, ATVing, snowmobiling, and more. Another difference I found is when you're doing activities, they look a bit different, the workout screen. What I want to show you guys is when I open a workout, it doesn't show the words on the Venu 4. The default, it literally comes with nothing, but you do have an option to add the titles. But I just wanted to say, I had to like dive into the menus to find this. They do have an option of, adding some more things and customizing your color options for both. Customize your data screens. And you can choose the type of fields that you want to have on there. They're both customizable in terms of your datas, but the Venu 4 definitely has more customizability than the Venu 3S, just in terms of how much data you can have on each page. For the Venu 3S here, you can see there's 3 brightness settings. There's low, there's medium, there's high. And it has right here, this is auto brightness, so you can turn this off or on. So if you want the smartwatch to automatically adjust the lighting in the setting you choose, perfect. If you don't, you can turn that off and you can adjust the brightness yourself manually. You can increase it by like 10% to 100. If you want your smartwatch to be super dim at night, if you want your smartwatch to always stay at, let's say 30% because you want to keep your brightness low to increase your battery life, that's something you can do. And the brightness performance works very well. Where with the Garmin Venu 4, with the brightness here, there are 3 settings. There's high, medium, and low. You cannot turn off auto brightness. It's always on. Basically, you saw the customizability where I can go from 10% to 100% brightness, whatever setting I want. You can't do that here. You just pick one of the 3 and the smartwatch does its auto brightness thing. Now, the problem for me is that the auto brightness on the Garmin Venu 4 here has issues. It routinely takes a long time to adjust. So if you are changing your lighting situation, let's say you're going from like indoors to outside, if you're going from a light room to a dark room, this thing is very sensitive and it just randomly changes when it doesn't need to. And it also takes a long time to adjust. So if I'm going into that dark room, for example, the brightness will be way too high when it should be lower to be easier on your eyes. So they're on the same brightness, but the Venu 4 is routinely brighter. With the Garmin Venu 3S, it doesn't have those issues. If I'm in a dark lighting condition, if I'm outside in the bright sunlight, wherever I am, it just has the right brightness setting if I have it on auto brightness. So both of them have a quoted battery life up to 10 days on a single charge. And this is the battery life with the optional always on display off. With my usage, I've gotten on average 6 to 7 days of battery life on the Venu 4 and 7 to 8 days of battery life on the Venu 3S. So I get an extra day or 2 on the Venu 3S, which I find awesome. Now they're both rated with the same battery life, but I do get better battery life performance out of the Venu 3S. And keep in mind, guys, this smartwatch I've had for over 2 years, battery is still holding up. Not a huge difference, to be honest, but I do like that I do get more battery life with the Venu 3S. And they both use that same plug-in charger from Garmin, their proprietary ones. So there's also some new features on the Venu 4. Now the Venu 4 has lifestyle logging. Lifestyle logging is just the smartwatch lets you log certain things in your life. Now you can choose what you want to log exactly. I just have a couple of things being logged. For me, I have these 2 things, but you can log a bunch more. I'll show you guys everything you can log in my Venu 4 review. These are things you can log on a daily basis, and it can be helpful if you are someone who maybe you're trying to accomplish a goal. Maybe let's say making sure you're not eating late meals, or you want to make sure you're having breakfast every day. This smartwatch can help you track that, and it can help you kind of look back and see if you missed any days and how your progress is going. Another new feature, as I mentioned, is the flashlight. So that's a cool new feature that we have on the Venu 4 that is not on the Venu 3S. We have training information. So we get your training status, you get your training readiness score. You can see your training status, your HRV, a bunch of information here. The Venu 4 here does have daily suggested workouts. For example, here, if I go into a walk or if I go into cardio, they're gonna show you a suggested workout. Today, here's my suggested workout. So basically the workouts are gonna walk you through what you should be doing. This can be handy for you to have suggested workouts, especially for someone who's not a planner and you just want the smartwatch to do things for you. All right, guys, so if you're asking me whether or not I think it's worth the upgrade to get the Venu 4 coming from the Venu 3S, at this time I would say no. Now I know that is an unpopular opinion, but I'm just here to give you guys my honest opinion. Keep in mind you're spending over $100 more to get this smartwatch. And yes, we do have some cool new features, like we have the flashlight, we have lifestyle logging, we have training effects, and more are really nice to have. But as someone who's had the Venu 3S for over 2 years now, and as someone who's used the Venu 4 for over a month now, I can say that they provide a very similar experience. Now don't get me wrong, I think the Garmin Venu 4 is a great smartwatch and has a lot of nice features in it. And I think a lot of you out there, if you're looking for something that's, the latest Garmin, you want something that has the newer operating system, you want a flashlight, you are going to take advantage of those new features that are in it, the Venu 4 could be a really great option for you. But the Venu 3S can do about 90% of what the Venu 4 can, and you can grab it at a significant price reduction, especially when you can grab it on sale. I think it's definitely the better option for the value. And they both have very good activity tracking performance. And the Venu 3S is a smartwatch that I do prefer. I like the color options more for this smartwatch. I like the fact that it has 3 buttons, the older operating system, easier to navigate, easier to read for me. If you're looking to pick up either the Garmin Venu 4 or the Garmin Venu 3S, I've gone ahead and left some links down in the description for you to use. So in case you guys are wondering, I still do use the Garmin Venu 2S. I think it's a fantastic smartwatch still now in 2025. I love the size of it, I love the color. The only thing they really need is the new heart rate sensor and a couple of the new features, and this could be perfect. But regardless, I just want to show you guys what they look like, side by side. The Venu 2S, the Venu 3S, and the Venu 4. And as you can see, my Venu 2S, which is older now, I've had this for years. It's still white, it's not having issues with color fading or anything. These are all light colored smartwatches. A lot of the time you guys are worried about getting light colors, but honestly, I don't have any issues with them. And if there's anything I missed today that you want to know, go ahead and drop a comment below. I always love hearing from you guys, and let me know if you guys are going to be upgrading to the Venu 4 from the Venu 3S, or let me know, which one you guys would choose overall. And that's all I have for today. Thanks for watching, and make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Bye.